Welcome to my Amazon stock analysis. Let's pull up the 5-year chart. I'm here on TradingView. Let's check it out. Looks like they've been up and down for the past 5 years, but overall they're up 106%. Looks like if you're going to buy them today, you're close to an all-time high. Let's see here. The market cap is 1.8 trillion, so large company, and their price to earnings ratio is 60.68. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with Amazon, so I don't want to beat it too hard. Let's check out their financials page and their statements, and I'm going to zoom you in here into the financials. This is their revenue metric from, let's see, on an annual basis here. They've grown 30% for these 2 years, then 20, and then back up to 30. They've got really great growth. Looks like over the past 2 years they did stagnate a little bit, and they're only growing at about 10 to 12% a year. Same thing with their earnings. Their earnings pretty much follow the revenue, but their margins are increasing slightly, and we can see that in their statistics page. If we check on an annual basis, I'm going to go to their net margin. This one is their net margin, and you can see it goes from 2 all the way up to 6. I would expect their margin to continue to increase with their scale, and once they, look at this gross margin. Gross margin is super high, and if they didn't spend so much on the other areas of the business, then their net margin could increase pretty quickly. Let's check out their balance sheet. This is their quarterly balance sheet. The most recent numbers is what we want to look at. This is their net debt number at 67 billion. And then what else to note? Their price to book, their book value is $19, and at a trading price of $171, it's much lower. Let's check out their cash flow. Cash flow is pretty similar. We can check out their cash from financing. They're not buying back any stock, which is this line, and then they're actually paying down debt in the last 3 quarters. All right, so that is good for that. This so you can see it easier. I want to take you through a couple of their slides. This is from the Amazon slides from their most recent financial quarter, and they did 105 billion in sales from North America, and then 40 billion in sales from international, and then AWS is only 14% of their sales. However, AWS does make up quite a substantial amount of their earnings, as we can see in this next slide. For North America of 2023, their net sales did increase, and they also got a positive margin here. Then international, their sales increased, and they're still negative, but I would expect that to turn positive probably next year. And then AWS, they did 90 billion in sales, and they have probably like a 25% or 28% margin in AWS. Let's check out the analyst projections. And here is Yahoo Finance. The average earnings estimate is 4.13. Maybe I can zoom this in as well. Doesn't look like that works. Let's try this. Okay. So 4.13 for their EPS estimate for next year, and then it jumps all the way up to 5.2 for 2025, which is like a 20%, 25% increase. For revenue, they are expected to do 640 billion next year, and then the year after it jumps to 714 billion, which is about an 11% increase. So let's run that through my discounted cash flow model. And here I will zoom into the spreadsheet. So I put in all these numbers that I need for Amazon, like their EPS estimate, their revenue estimate in millions. They're doing 0 in buybacks, and their net debt is 67 billion. My discount rate is 10% because I want a 10% return on all of my stocks. So let's put in the numbers for their earnings. the analysts are expecting a 25% growth into 2025. So I put 25% growth here. And then I have it dropping as they grow bigger because they can't sustain super high growth all the time. This is tough because I do expect their margins to increase as well. And so that's why I think it's easier to value Amazon using the revenue model. And we remember that their revenue has been increasing between 30% a year or 10% a year. More recently, 10% a year. The analysts are projecting 11% growth. And so I just have them declining in growth as they scale because, right, you can't grow at an 11% clip forever. Otherwise, you're just going to consume every business in the world. So we've got 11% growth here and then steadily declines down to 5% growth. And profit margin was like 7% last quarter. So I think that for 2024, their profit margin is actually going to increase up to 8%, and 2025, 9%. And actually, their profit margin could expand. Sorry, could expand quicker than that. But I think that this is pretty conservative here. And then we could say that their profit margin might get up to 20%. They do have such a wide moat that I don't think that's unrealistic. They are a retailer though, so maybe it is a little bit unrealistic, but using these numbers, we can see that they are underneath their fair value. All right, their fair share price at 276, they're trading at 171. But let's just say that their profit margin hovers around 12%. Because they are a retailer and it's kind of hard to make money as a retailer. So their profit margin hovers at 12% for the remainder of their life. And you can see that their fair share price is still $172 to $178 per share if you're expecting a 10% return, which is pretty awesome. Now, what would have been really great is if we would have been able to pick up Amazon at its low price of, if you remember, it was like $80 a share. Let's see what type of return we could have expected if we would have picked it up at $80 a share, maybe a discount rate of 15%, maybe a discount rate of 20%. And yeah, if you would have picked up Amazon at $91 a share, you could have expected a 20% return in the coming years. So yeah, super, super important to look at the price of stocks when you're valuing them and the projections going into the future. So, hey, if you guys like the video, hit that like button. Really helps me out. And if you really like videos like this, I do analysis of a bunch of different stocks. Hit that subscribe button. Leave comments in the comments section if you have any questions about this. I also allow you guys to use this completely for free. Just check the link in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.